The Buddha taught the noble truth to me. I see reality.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, good morning to all of you. Suki Hontu. It's great to see everybody joining us early in the morning. And please continue to reach each other in the comments box. For the benefit of those who are not sure what this segment is all about, the online team always have an opening video to the online Dhamma events. We call this segment Voices of Blooms. What do we do in this segment? We are featuring talented songwriters or composers and singers of Buddhist songs. We will have them to be introduced and they will tell us about the song, what are the inspirations regarding the song. And we always hope that through this segment we will be able to publicize Buddhist songs to many, many people out there. Brothers and sisters, this morning, I'd like to introduce to you Sister Devi Suhardi. Sister Devi Suhardi is one of the singers at iGEMS. Good morning, Sister.
Good morning, Brother Chuan. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. I'm very happy to have you with us this morning in this segment. We'd like to get to know you, and definitely it is great that you are involved in Buddhist songs. So, Sister, I heard that you are the only member of iGEMS who is not a Malaysian. I'm curious, can you please tell us more about that and how did it happen then?
Okay, sure, Brother Chuan and everyone. So at first I heard of iGEMS when my sister, who actually studied in Singapore, shared with me beautiful English Buddhist songs. So at that time, it was so rare. We only have like Indonesian Buddhist songs or Chinese Buddhist songs. It's very rare to have like English Buddhist songs. So I'm very drawn to this song. And at that time, I actually moved from one city to another. So as a young teenagers, sorry about the noise. As a young teenagers, it's very difficult for me to embrace change because I just moved from one city to the other. So this song called Truth of Change, maybe some of you know this song, really helped me to get through this difficult moment. And since then, I'm really drawn to iGEM songs. And when I moved to Malaysia to study, the Indonesian Buddhist Society, Tarabadi, actually invited iGEMS members. And that was the first time I get to know them, like live. And then they had an audition, I signed up and I got in. So it's been almost like 10 years soon in May that I'm attached to iGEMS. Thank you for asking.
Wow, that's great. I heard of the Tarabadi because they are at the Sumangala area in the local private university.
Yes, right.
Yeah. And Sister, I would like to ask you is at iGEMS, what kind of involvement were you there?
All right, thank you. So for me, I'm mainly a singer. I usually take up the soprano part. Also, I help with the choreographing of like some stages movement, especially when the young iGEMS members come in. So we also have to evolve. So that's why we start to choreograph a little bit to tell the storyline better. And recently, Ke Hui, I believe you interviewed Ke Hui before. So me and her danced to this song, Love Will See You Home, to
Mm.
complement the storyline. So yeah, and I'm also very blessed that for the latest album, I was given a chance to have my voice recorded in the song Here We Are, You and I. I still remember the process of like recording this song, practicing again and again to make sure the message is across with Brother Daniel, the songwriter, Dr. Victor Wee, and all the I just member. It's really a memorable one. Thank you.
Wow. I'm sure it is a very great experience to be involved with Brother Daniel and Dato Victor V. Wow, you are very fortunate to have that experience,
Thank you.
opportunity too. Right. So, if that's the case, then what about the song that you like to introduce us today? Can you tell us about that song?
All right. Thank you, Brother Chuan. So this song that actually I would like to introduce, it's from the first album, which is Cradle of Buddha's Arms. So Cradles in Buddha's Arms. This song is called Ever Shifting Universe. I chose this song because I think it's very relatable to everyone right now. So especially with this pandemic, with this COVID-19 situation, it really forces me to realize that everything is uncertain. It's funny because like even a little child will know that we will never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Or maybe the next 5 minutes. But with this more unpredictable situation right now, I caught myself several times wanting things to be certain, wanting things to be going exactly how I predict it to be. Yeah, for example, I get so annoyed when SOP change, or when my flight get canceled, or anything that doesn't go to plan. So um, it really hits me how actually I'm very unskillful in embracing change. So yeah, like in this pandemic situation now, we see schools open and close. Some companies goes up and down, some doing even better, some doing even worse. So yeah, but if we step aside and look at the bigger picture, like pandemic has happened before. It
Mm.
left us with a lot of scars into this world, a lot of death, catastrophe, but it passed. So that's why I'm reminded of this concept of ever shifting universe. Like it comes in and go, it'll be here and it will pass. So I chose this song so that in hope that this song can remind us all to be strong because everything will pass, and to embrace what we have right now because it too will pass. So until then, we are liberated from this ever shifting universe. May we all continue to take refuge in the Triple Gem and learn the Dhamma so that we'll be more skillful and have more wisdom in embracing this change and ever shifting universe. Yeah, thank you.
Sadhu to you. I'm very happy and very glad that you are able to share with us how you feel about the song and the great Dharma message to all of us.
Thank you.
Finally, yes, finally is would you be able to give us a few words of encouragement to the people out there? Mm.
Okay. In general, it's for us to stay strong because, like what I said, in this situation, everything is quite uncertain. Is to be grateful of the little things that we have because uh, it might be here, but we don't know when it's gonna stay until. And yeah, I think it's very tough at the moment, and I hope we can find refuge, and we can find relief in each other company, and with our, and also it's the time for us to practice even more, maybe mindfulness, just in case we feel that everything gets so overwhelmed. At least we're mindful that, okay, this too shall pass. I need to be strong for this. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. We are very glad that you are able to share such a great messages of the Dhamma to everyone out there. Sadhu to you again. So,
Sadhu.
brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, afterwards, we are going to play this song, Ever Shifting Universe. Follow the lyrics and then tell us how you feel about it. And with that, this is the end of this segment, and we will continue with our Sunday Buddha Puja events after this. With that, Suki Hontu.
If you knew that happiness won't last, would you shed another tear? And if sadness too will go away, then there's no place left for fear. 'Cause the rain may chase away the sunshine, the moon outshines the stars. In this ever-shifting universe, this is where you really are. If you knew that wars would somehow stop, but peace will never stay, would your sadness bring you to your knees? Would you strive the eightfold way? 'Cause the sun will chase away the starlight, and rainbows will appear. In this ever-shifting universe, all that's true is now and here. Now and here will come and go. Not much time to learn and know. Now and here will not rivers in this ever-shifting universe. So the Buddha's words do ring so true, that we're in a constant change. Mind and form will never stay the same. What once was must rearrange. 'Cause the stars may fall down from the skies right into the ocean's blue. In this ever-shifting universe, what you are is never you. What you are is
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Good morning to all of you. It's a wonderful morning to see so many of you who have joined us so early today and have left so many wonderful messages on the chat. Thank you very much. Well, just a reminder, to have clarity of audio and visual, please check your Wi-Fi devices, make sure they are all right. Sometimes you just have to switch on and switch off your Wi-Fi devices and refresh your computer. During the Buddha Puja service, remember we all must have a calm mind, even though we face some difficulties over the sound, the picture. Please prepare a candle or oil lamp to offer at your altar. Wait for the announcement to light the candle together with Venerable Sumangala. To those who have just joined us for the very first time, welcome to Subang Jaya Buddhist Association. This morning is the 39th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. We organize this weekly online Puja service in order to give an opportunity to Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices during this COVID-19 period. Brothers and sisters, let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our bodies, and compose our mind. Let go of thinking about the past and future, and be at the present moment. I shall now hand over to our Puja leader, Sister Anne. Over to you, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Brother Chuan. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin with our Sunday Buddha Puja service. With respect, may we invite Venerable Sumangala to make the offerings to the Buddha. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, you may also light your candles or oil lamps. Let us place our palms together in Anjali position and contemplate mindfully. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 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 Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammam pujemi, Sangham pujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us now invite Ayah Sumangala to administer to us the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts.
Let us compose our mind to take refuge in the triple gem. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
But taking refuge in the triple gem. Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tadiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tadiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tadiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Panchasila, 5 precepts. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu Micchācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Kamesu Micchācara Veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya Majjapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami.
Surameraya Majjapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Appamadena sampadeta.
Amaaye. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya, Ayah Sumangala, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. This morning, we are pleased to have Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni to lead us in our Sunday Puja and also to give a Dhamma talk with the title, Uncertain Not, Be Heedful. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, if you have any questions pertaining to the talk, you may type your questions in the comment section. We shall then read out your questions after the Dhamma talk for Venerable Sumangala to answer your question. If due to time constraints that we are not able to answer all your questions, we shall take note of your questions and forward the answers by Venerable Sumangala to you in one way or another. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, please allow me to introduce Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni. Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni renounced her corporate life as a branch manager and become an anakarika since 2005 under the spiritual guidance of Venerable Mahinda Thera and Venerable Nakte Male Sumeta Maniyo. Subsequently, she took her papaja in 2008, and in 2011 she obtained her MA in Buddhist philosophy from the International Buddhist College, Thailand. In 2015, she took her higher ordination or Upasampata of a Bhikkhuni with Venerable Ayya Santini Theri, her Pawatini, and also Venerable P. Sri Sanankara Nayaka Mahathera, the chief judiciary monk of Malaysia, her Upajjhaya. Currently, Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni is the abbess of Ariya Vihara and the advisor of Gotami Vihara Society. She is invited to deliver Dhamma talks in various Buddhist societies and conferences, conduct meditation retreats in Malaysia and abroad. She also conducts Dhamma education for family, uniquely designed as a ARC program, family, youth and children camp, metta and mindfulness workshop, compassion in action projects. She also leads in a pilgrimage to the Buddha holy sites as well as giving counseling services and etc. etc. She has pioneered the Ariya monastic and lady training program, one of the first Theravada Bhikkhuni and lady development program to nurture potential noble practitioner and Bhikkhuni Sangha in Malaysia. At present, she is also leading a building project team and invite all supporters to build a new Ariya Vihara at Kuasa Damansara, which is the first Malaysian Theravada Bhikkhuni nunnery and also Dhamma training center for the well-being, happiness, and benefit of the many. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us fold our palms together and invite Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni to give us a Dhamma talk, Uncertain Not, Be Heedful. Ayah.
Shall revert to the chanting by Ayah Sumangala. Apologize for that. We will repeat this part. Over to you, Ayah Sumangala.
Thank you, Brother Chim and Brother Chuan. So as we prepare for the talk, let us start by chanting to calm down our mind for us to heed for the Dhamma talk. Buddha Anusati, recollection of the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati Deva Manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. Dhammanusati, recollection of the Dhamma. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehi passiko panaiko pachatang veritabbo vinyo iti. Sanghanusati, recollection of the Sangha. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Sami Chipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punya Ketang Lokasati. Chaitya Vandana, salutation to the holy shrine. Vandami Chaitiyang Sabbang Sabbatane Supatititang Saririkadatu Mahabodhi Buddha Rupang Sakalang Sada. Bodhi Vandana, salutation to the Bodhi tree. Yasamule Nisinnova Sabbari Vijayang Aka Pato Sabbanyutang Sattha De Vande Tang Bodhipadapang Ime ete mahabodhi Lokanatena pujita aham pitena massami bodhi raja namatute. Padipa Puja, offering of light. Ganasarapaditena dipena tamadangsina tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang. Dupa Puja, offering of incense. Gandha sambara yuttena dupenaham sugandhina pujaye pujaniyantang puja bhajanamuttamam. Pupa Puja, offering of flowers. Vannagandha gunopetang etang kusuma santating pujayami munindassa siripada saroruhe pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena metena chohotu mokkang uppang milayati yataidang me kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang. Paniya Puja, offering of water. Adivase no bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya padiganhatu muttamang. Asking for forgiveness. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang ajayang kamame bante buripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang ajayang kamame dhamma sandittika kalika. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang ajayang kamame sangha supadipanna anuttara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
respect, we invite Venerable Sumangala Bhikkhuni to deliver the Dhamma talk, Uncertain Not, Be Heedful. Ayah.
Thank you, Brother Chim. Namo Buddhaya and Sukhi Hontu to all our fellow devotees. So, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, today is a good day for us to come together to pay heed for this Dhamma talk and also discussion, as we are into the uncertainty of things. And this topic comes up to discuss further how we can learn to overcome. And as you see the topic, uncertain not, as we're in the midst of a very uncertain time, why we say, it's possible to be uncertain not, and also to learn to be heedful during this time. So firstly, we'd like to see that we are able to get some idea about the idea of uncertainty. I think this morning, earlier, there's some experience of uncertainty that we share, the songs of uncertainty that we share, and what are really that we are facing, and how we can look into it more objectively, and also able to come to this certainty of the uncertainty, or certainty and not be uncertain anymore. So next slide, please. Now, when talking about uncertainty, there are aspects of uncertainty which is objective and subjective. To make it simple, we can see that objective uncertainty involves processes of unwinding, or coming up with new knowledge, and the methods or the validation or scope and distinction between justified belief and opinions, and they become something that is more true at that time. So this kind of things that will come with a decision which is more on knowledge based, just like the scientific endeavor. So there are also objective uncertainty which is of metaphysics like, and is dealing with nature of being, which I think a lot of scientists still are looking into this. It's uncertain, but there's a certainty that if investigation were to be made, then gradually we can be certain of certain things at certain time. So there are also uncertainty that is quite subjective, which are such like a moral uncertainty. In our conventional way of defining, maybe we may have certain uncertainty, but of course in the Buddha's teaching, we are quite certain, which is principles of life that cannot be altered, and it stays until today, even from ancient time until now. For example, maybe the principles of the 5 precepts, the principles of living. There are also subjective uncertainty that depending on the rules, also conventionally can be changed. For example, maybe like today you say SOP cannot travel interstate by your own car, but you can travel in a group in a bus. So this kind of certain uncertainty about rules, and also at certain time, of course, it needs your intuitive decision to respond. So these are some of the idea about objective and subjective uncertainty. Next, please. Now, why are we uncertain? So because it refers to knowledge or degree of validation involve imperfect or unknown information. For example, as we go through the pandemic, even for 1 year plus, we are still trying to find out the knowledge about the pandemic, about the virus, about how we are going to go about with many things in life. but a lot of things are still not very perfectly known. Yeah, so that's why you experience uncertainty. And it also applies to prediction of future events. There are many predictions of this and that, and even social media come up with all this conspiracy theory and all whatnot. And because why everybody try to predict future and lead others to the idea that they want to promote. Yeah, but prediction is still a prediction. Yeah, again they are getting into the unknown, but also because of the ready speedy information, they can make things even not concretely, let's say, validate. They already release and trying to predict the future and swing people accordingly to the idea that they want to promote. Yeah, and it creates even more uncertainty. So uncertainty also arises in partially observable and random pattern environments, which may not be predicted precisely. So again, last year until now, it is a year where everyone, yeah, not only like one person or one community or one country, yeah, but the whole world, yeah, is swing into this scenario of observing, yeah, all those pattern of things that is happening around us and within us. And still, a lot of people do prediction, but the prediction also cannot be predicted precisely. One day is this, second day is another, and so is you're putting on toes of what is happening now or even the next moment. So uncertainty also arises due to ignorance or indolence, laziness, or both. Yeah. So this can be very much into the way how we think about things. Yeah, our mind. And I think this is where the Buddha focused a lot in helping us to understand about how we can be certain about liberating from this uncertainty. Yeah. So uncertainty can arise if conventionally we say in the fields of politics, you can see the people are coming up, politics are up, different things are up and down. And one time this person in power, next time, they are out. And then the one that you are unexpected, they also, come out. So it can be in politics, it can be in philosophy, physics, economics, finance, yeah, and psychology. Sorry, there's a spelling mistake there. Sociology, engineering, meteorology, ecology, and they can name it. Yeah, there's so many of them. Right. Next. So in this professor, assistant professor, yeah, from Cognitive Linguistic and Psychology Sciences at Brown University, he says, yeah, humans are predicting machines. We are always predicting. Our whole lives are spent trying to figure out what is the best move to do next. Yeah, so in general, another person's motivation, desires, or beliefs are hidden. So we have to figure out how to navigate through the world when we are interacting with other people, or in this case, yeah, other situation, yeah, other expectation without that knowledge. So what our next action is going to be depends on how others respond. For example, like even until today, not many people know and understand what is happening. Yeah. For example, you've asked a lot of people, what is the data or the statistic that tell us? For example, we say, okay, for all the cases, 99.5% people recover from COVID-19. Even they get it, they get recover, and less than 0.5 that is happening to those who happen to have some sickness and also have COVID and they die of COVID. So 99.5% recover, 0.5%, yeah, less than 0.5%. That is not purely just only COVID, die of COVID, yeah. But very few people know this. But the reaction, the uncertainty is actually overwhelming. I think the uncertainty and reaction is 99.5%, and the less that we look at the 0.5%. So what our next action is going to be, yeah, we tend, conventionally, if we do not have the Dhamma, we tend to be waiting, to depend on how others respond. But of course, in our life, we respond to what needs to be responded at that particular time. Next. So we know that change and uncertainty, everybody will say, yeah, change is, constant. Uncertainty we feel is constant, and we do not think that there's a way to come out, but if we are to think that way, this can contribute to our suffering. And to some, if they are having that kind of wisdom to see that, yes, change is constant, but understanding change is constant, then we can actually grow. So firstly, we have to really understand it. So then we can answer the question on how do we deal with all these changes. How do we abide with the pains and joys of life, and neither getting swept up in them nor turning our back and ignoring them. So we need to have face to face, to understand what uncertainty is, so that we'll be able to be more certain, the purpose, the direction of our life, or the meaning of our life, and how we can help ourselves and also our children to learn the same, so that they have a fruitful life. They have a life which is more conducive for the growth and for the realization of freedom or liberation from the cycle of suffering or the cycle of uncertainty. Next. Now, for sure, we say in Digha Nikaya 16, certainly, just now we say uncertain. Now, certainly, the Buddha say, certainly and surely, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. This is certain. So, accomplish deliverance by non-negligence, non-indolence, or non-carelessness. Next. So with the Buddha's last breath, he reiterated the great theme spoken so often during his 45 years of teaching. Now we can see the Buddha's life, when he actually was living a lay life. He also have a lot of pondering about the uncertainty of life, and he renounced and he went forth to seek this knowledge of, is there a way to end this uncertainty? Is there a way to a life where we can experience a very peaceful and very conducive understanding about the world, about how we can be free from all kinds of uncertainty and therefore from all types of suffering. So the Buddha, as we see, when he went forth, he became a renunciant. It's so uncertain. Where do you stay? You don't have a specific place. What do you eat? You don't have things that what you like to eat, whatever the people offer you. Even until now, this tradition is being carried on, and to invoke a kind of awakening to be free from this entanglement of the suffering caused by the uncertainty in the conventional way. So we'll be able to release ourselves from this suffering. So you don't know what you're going to eat today or tomorrow, or live in a place or not, or under the trees or under the shade, and you wander and you meet all different kinds of people. They have different walks of life. They can ask different questions. They can react. They can respond. So in the Buddha's life for 45 years, he has been doing this, but yet the Buddha remained calm, composed, and wise and compassionate. So the last message of the Buddha said, Vaya Dhamma Sankara. All conditioned things are impermanent. Appamadena sampadeta. So strive diligently means accomplish this deliverance through non-negligence, non-indolence, and non-carelessness. Right? So strive diligently, to overcome this Because why? What is certain? All conditioned things are impermanent. But how are we to understand it deeply within our mind so that we can be released from this entanglement? Next. So to what purpose are we to strive? Yeah. So we are to strive so that hopefully we can understand. Yeah. The understanding of anicca means impermanent as a means to liberation. Because without that, we will be entangled in the cycle of samsara. So we must strive to realize impermanence within ourselves. So as we begin just now, you can see the definition is all about searching something outside. And therefore, we are so uncertain. Yeah. But the Buddha advises, yeah, what are we to strive? Is to strive to realize impermanence within ourselves. Then we'll be able to free ourselves from all kinds of uncertainty. Right, next. So the Buddha actually in the Anguttara Nikaya 8.6, yeah, the Buddha explained very clearly, yeah, about why, some people are swinging, yeah, around, and some people are also spin around, whether they are the worldly people, which do not listen to the Dhamma, or they are very ordinary, and how they are also influenced and affected, and how some are not affected. Even those who are learning Dhamma, or they are cultivating their mind, they too actually experience this uncertainty in the world. The Buddha say, in the whole world, actually what we are experiencing, yeah, we name it as uncertainty, but which is winds, or the 8 worldly condition that keep spinning around us, keep revolving around us, or we are the one that also revolve around them. Yeah, the 8 worldly conditions. So these 8 worldly conditions, what are they? Yeah, next. So it's none other than we are actually spinning around with this. If you try to observe your life, we are actually spinning around by gain and loss, fame and disgrace or defame, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. So last year, the whole year until now, yeah, we are still spinning around these 8 worldly conditions so violently and very volatile, and we're still experiencing this, yeah, gain and loss, fame and disgrace, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. We hear many stories, yeah, about these 8 worldly conditions and how this has affected so many people in their life, and making the world very unstable and in disharmony. Next. Now, the Buddha said, how can we, as an untrained ordinary person, when we encounter gain, loss, fame, disgrace, praise, blame, pleasure, and pain, and how even those who are well-trained noble disciples, when they also encounter the same thing, gain, loss, fame, disgrace, praise, blame, pleasure, and pain. When they encounter this, is there any difference? Is everyone going through the same thing, the same suffering, the same stress, or, there are difference between them? So what is the difference or distinction and distinguishing factor between these two group of people who are hit or faced by the 8 worldly condition that is so violently now hitting people around the world? So is there any difference between them, or is it the same? Next. Now, as we learn from the teaching of the Buddha, so I think it is always good for us to understand the Dhamma or the truth according to what the Buddha has taught us. Yeah, we may be listening a lot of theories, a lot of presentation, a lot of conferences, but the truth that the Buddha actually pointed out to us, it is very helpful when we can always refer to what he taught, yeah, because the teaching or the truth is taught by the Buddha who has gone through the whole path, knowing how it comes about, what it is, and how this an end to it, and also the way to end. Yeah, so it means the path that leads to the end of the suffering or the stress or uncertainty. Yeah, so due to that, we give due respect and also due learning and practice in what the Buddha has taught us, as is our guide and our refuge. So in this way, that's why we will be able to see, yeah, and reflect why some people are free from suffering and stress, and some suffers and stress. So we can see after this as we analyze further. Yeah, next. So when an uninstructed ordinary person meets with gain, yeah, this is uninstructed ordinary person. Yeah, so this is generally applied to most people. Yeah, because why we feel that we are normal, we are ordinary, and this is what life is all about. Yeah, so when we meet with gain, we normally do not reflect. Yeah, we always would think, yeah, gain. As when we gain something, we always think that, you know, this is something that we will want to keep it more permanently. We want to build up more, and we also would like to, make a variety to, have it like from profit to earning to incomes, and we want to make it a variety so that we can have more and more and more, right? So the Buddha say, why people suffer, okay, it is when a person, yeah, who is uninstructed, yeah, meaning they have not come to Dhamma, they are not listening to Dhamma, or they are actually never know the Dhamma, and they are ordinary person, and when they meet with gain, he does not reflect. Yeah, when a person meet with gain, he does not reflect. This gain that I have encountered is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. He does not understand or discern it as it actually is. His mind remains consumed with the gain, occupied with the gain, obsessed with the gain. Now we give an example. For example, when a person gain a wealth, right? When they gain the wealth, let's say we can see some politician or maybe a person who get a lot of wealth, and this wealth that they gain, sometimes because of their power, they misuse their power to have that gain. And not only they gain and they misuse the power to gain, and they want to actually increase the gain by using more and more ways and means to cheat, to take away others or organizations money for their own pocket. Yeah, and because why they didn't reflect. Yeah, they don't reflect because why? Because they think that this is going to be permanent. It's going to be forever for them. They're going to be rich, and they are going to use their power to continue to gain. Yeah, but they never know, or they refuse to acknowledge, yeah, that this gain, yeah, that they encounter is actually impermanent. The nature of it is impermanent. And why is it also suffering? Because actually the more they gain, the more they are worried, yeah, that they will lose it. And they also do not reflect that it's subject to change. Yeah, and they think that they may have so many shoes, or so many much money, and they can park in different bank, and so they think that is permanent, that is secure. But in reality, if you look at it, yeah, this gain that person acquire is actually impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. So in one way, he does not understand as it really is. Because why? Impermanent, he think is permanent. Unsatisfactory, he think is enjoyment, happiness when they have this gain. And then also insubstantial, but the thing is, they're going to live with this like for life, happily laughing away, and maybe they think they can bring to heaven. But they do not reflect the reality of this gain, the impermanent suffering and subject to change. They refuse to see this, and their mind remains consumed with the gain. They keep thinking about their gain, how to make it more, occupied with the gain, thinking again about the gain, obsessed with the gain. Everything, day in, day out, they are talking about the gain and how to make it more and more and more. So in that way, then of course the attachment and craving will lead to even more suffering, because due to what? Because due to the illusion of permanency, happiness, and the ego, the self, that is like forever and ever. Other people die is fine, but they think they are going to live forever and ever, right? Next. So when they have gain, they think that way. They want to make more and more, But when they meet with loss, then again, this person does not reflect that the loss that they have encountered is also impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. Why? So that's why when a person do not reflect, then we can see when they lose their position or they lose their gain, then they start to become angry, vicious, and they start to do all sorts of things again to preserve their gain, and they cannot also address their loss. And this loss is actually impermanent also. It does not last, and this loss is also unsatisfactory, because when you suffer from loss, you experience different kind of feeling. If you hold on to that loss, then of course people will lament, grieve, they will grieve, feeling sad, but actually loss is also impermanent, and also subject to change. And why they react? Because they do not see it as it is, and all these are subject to change, is impermanent, but people still hold it as something, like during pandemic, when some people lost jobs, maybe sometimes we lost business, lost our status, lost our money, and we become very sad, and because of that we grieve, we lament, we complain, but that doesn't help. But if we were to understand that loss is also impermanent, then we can do something else and start our life again, and then we'll be able to move on and live more fruitfully. So again, like if a person who is not mindful, or he's not learning and practicing the Dhamma, and he's leading just an ordinary life, their mind is always consumed with loss. That's why we see the rise of stress, the rise of depression, the rise of suicide. So why? Because people cannot understand, and their mind continue to consume with the loss, occupied with the loss, and obsessed with the loss. So it is very dangerous when we, again, this is another extreme to where when we did not understand that loss itself is impermanent, although it's unsatisfactory, but it's also subject to change. Next. So we can see this group of worldly winds or worldly conditions that we are going through. Just now we are talking about gain and loss. So as we gain, it relates to all the others. For example, normally when we gain, then we will start to rise in fame. yeah, that people will see, wow, you now have a different cars, bigger cars, branded cars, or now from a small apartment now, or you're getting a bungalows, or you're having more house, yeah. So naturally, it ties on with fame, and then from there you receive a lot of praise, how good you are, you know, how steady you are, or you know, how clever you are and how smart you are, yeah. And also from there, then the tendency is that we think that we can actually make good use of this to enhance, to increase our pleasures, yeah. So there will be more sensual pleasures that will be involved, yeah. So why? Because we do not see that all this gain, yeah, praise or fame, and also pleasures, all these are all anicca, yeah, and all are impermanent, and is also subject to change. And sometimes because of this also people are not happy. You'll be surprised, a lot of rich people, they cannot sleep well, yeah. Because why? They keep holding and consume their mind with the gain. And why? They worry that people may take away their gain or their wealth, yeah. And also not only their gain, because through that they also worry that, you know, they will be defamed. So the opposite of the condition of gain, fame, praise, and pleasure, whenever people acquire this, they will have the fear of the other side of it. The more they acquire, the more fear they will have, the more uncertain about life. It's not that, oh, when we're rich, then we are very certain about life, yeah? But they have different kinds set of fear or unhappiness or uncertainty. So we can see that, because why? Because when they meet with all these condition, worldly condition, then that person's mind will remain consumed with, let's say, the fame, or consumed or occupied with the fame, or obsessed with the fame. So when they are not reflective about the nature of this worldly condition, this is why they get caught, yeah, into the spin, yeah, revolving around the world, yeah. And this, the world also revolve around this. We can see very clearly during this pandemic, yeah. So there's so many stories, so many happenings, that you can see the people are spinning around the eight worldly conditions, and it's so prominent, yeah. Because nowadays, any second you can receive another news, you can even see, you can hear, yeah. And you can see people talk about it, but is it helpful for us? Or rather that we should reflect within us. So because of lack of reflection, yeah, like this fame, let's say, that I have encountered is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. That's why when they do not reflect, do not see it as the way it is, people are caught into suffering, stress, suffering, depression, lamenting, complaining. And again, like I say, you know, during this time is a time of awakening, yeah, to the Dhamma, yeah. Next. So always reflect, whether it's gain, fame, yeah, praise, or pleasures that we have encountered. This is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. Next. So the Buddha said, when a person, yeah, is attracted or opposed to these eight worldly winds or eight worldly conditions, yeah. So number one, he is in favor, attracted, and attached, yeah, to gain, fame, praise, pleasures. But he is opposed or disagree with, actively resists to loss, disgrace, blame, and pain. So as he is thus engaged in attraction and opposition, he is not released from birth, aging, or death, from sorrows, lamentations, pain, distress, or despair. So he is not released. The Buddha said, I tell you, he is not released from suffering and stress. So when one is attracted and also living in opposed to the other sets, yeah, loss. I mean, in this pandemic, we can see a lot of happenings on the loss, yeah, on the defame or disgrace, and on the blame, and also pain, yeah. So we can see very prominent. It happens to the leader of the countries, to the ministers, to the trades, business, to education, to individual people, or to the community, to the many, segment in the world, and everyone is getting into this. So when the people do not understand, and when they get into this eight worldly wings, and they spin around them or revolve around these eight worldly conditions, and the eight worldly conditions come to them, yeah, now with the internet, AI, they will come into your life, come into your mind. And so this is where, when people are consumed with this, engaged in this, then of course the Buddha said, birth, aging, and death continues. Yeah, they will continue to sorrow, lament, feeling pain, distress, and disappointed, yeah, despairs, and of course he's not released from suffering and stress. So how can we actually help ourselves to overcome this, especially during this particular time when we face this uncertainty? Next. So the Buddha said, when a well-instructed noble disciple meets with gain. So in the past, if we are practicing and we listen to the Dhamma and we follow the teaching of the Dhamma and we practice it, and as we meet with gain, when we receive gain, yeah, so we always reflect, yeah, this gain that I have encountered is also impermanent, yeah, suffering and subject to change. Now the other one, they don't reflect, but a person with Dhamma in their heart, they will reflect. Whatever that I have encountered, yeah, the gain, I know that is impermanent. It also lead to some suffering, yeah, and also subject to change. For example, yeah, some people, they have a lot of money, but even when they grow old, they become very uncertain, yeah, fearful, because sometimes they are unscrupulous children, yeah, may actually want to take it, yeah, and plot something to take it away from them. So, but a wise person, yeah, they will know. So they will know this is also subject to suffering. But then they will, of course, do it in a way that they don't have to be caught in this, yeah. Knowing that it comes, it will also one day go. But they will also use the Dhamma, practice the Dhamma to deliver it in a good way. For example, whatever that they need, they spend it, family, for the education, they make good use of it. And other than that, they share with others their gain. So they know it's impermanent. So instead of going through that, the mind consumed with all the gain and occupied the gain and being stingy and obsessed with the gain, they rather actually share it with others. Because why? They know it's impermanent. And when that gain can be shared, then it brings a lot of happiness to others, or it saves life. For example, also in during this pandemic, we know that some of these people, yeah, they see the point of having gain and having make good use of it for their need. They also, yeah, let go their gain in a way to support others who are in need. Because why? They do not hold it, yeah, and consume it as just I my mind, and keep thinking of how to make more and then keep more, and then self-centeredness, accumulated. But they have this understanding, yeah, that this gain that they encounter is also actually impermanent, and also it leads to unsatisfactoriness, and it's also subject to change. So they don't consume or occupy or obsess with it in their mind. Next. The next slide, please. So again, yeah, it's so important for us to reflect again and again, yeah. Whatever phenomena that comes to us, it is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. And this is the truth. This is certain, yeah, that whatever phenomena that comes to us is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. And how are we to overcome it? Next. So we need to train our mind, to remain unconsumed, unoccupied, and unobsessed. Yeah. So not only with the gain and loss, but also fame and disgrace, praise and blame, pleasure and pain. For example, because in our life, even this body, the Buddha said, can't even call myself, and therefore, is subject to the uncertainty that is happen around, because why? It is impermanent. All conditional things, it arises due to certain other condition. It doesn't stand by itself. So if a wise man, they will understand, and they do not occupy their mind, or obsess with these 8 worldly livings. When they have gain or fame or praise or pleasure, they remain unperturbed, unaffected, and because I remember, and when you practice this, so at the end is that people will expect when there's something happen, something joyful happen, they will expect you to be very excited, about it. And when something that is tragic happen, they will expect you to cry and to be emotional about it. And this is quite a common things when for the ordinary people. But for example, I just share with you that when my own mother lost my father, means the husband, and within 60 days, when my brother also passed away. So means within 2 months, 2 of the loved ones, have passed on. And what happened is that, interestingly, we can see that my mother remained very calm. And when we ask her, and of course we support her in different ways, but it is through the understanding, and she shared with us. She said a lot of people were asking her whether she's sad, and it's so tragic, and giving condolences. But my mom's response is that, luckily I have learned the Dhamma. Learning the Dhamma to understand that all conditioned things are anicca. And because it's anicca, we cannot hold on to them. That's why we feel the unhappiness or suffering. But in order not to have that, by true understanding of anicca and this dukkha, then we see that the life actually is moving on. And because of this Dhamma of understanding the anicca, then she do not experience much suffering due to grief of the loss, because it's anicca too. So our loved ones, we may also happen to lose them, but again, if we reflect, they come into our life, maybe you gain them into your life, but we have to understand one day they are going to also leave us, or one day we are going to leave them. So if we can understand this, just like the Buddha said, the wise one, they will see they are unconsumed, by all this fame, gain, pleasures and praise. But even when loss come, they do not subject themselves to distress or to suffering. So I actually rejoices with her that she's able to see in a very simple way the Dhamma that works within when they understand. Next. So now you see, one is not in favor, attracted or attached to gain, fame, praise, and pleasure. And when one does not oppose or not disagree with and not actively receive the loss, disgrace, blame, and pain. So when one abandons all this accession and opposition, meaning we live a life of simplicity, what we really need in life actually, 2 meals, for clothes, we can wear it for a long time, a shelter, and then if you're sick, some medicine. That is what I think we need only, yeah. But when we are able to understand that, so even this 8 worldly condition that comes to us, when we abandon the attraction and opposition to it, then the Buddha said one is released from birth, aging, and death. Because why these 8 worldly conditions, when we are not careful with it, we will be having birth. Because why? We keep cycling into wanting, getting, desiring, and because of that, craving, clinging. That's why becoming, then birth. So when we have birth, then of course we go through the aging, and then the death, and that's why we experience the loss, and also the disgrace when we are old, and also we go through blame, because now physically we may not be on par with many people, and also pain, whether it's bodily pain or mental pain. But a wise one will abandon attraction and opposition to this 8 worldly condition. So thus he is released from birth, aging, and death, from sorrows, lamentations, pain, distress, and despair. And then the Buddha say, I tell you, he is released from suffering and stress. So you see now, there's a way that we can actually practice that to help us to overcome the uncertainty in life. And it is not that difficult, but to really see things and practice the way of training the mind, so that we will be able to face the world, face the spinning even of these 8 worldly conditions without being much affected by them. So whether it's pandemic or it's no pandemic, we need a life which is wakeful, we need a life which is fruitful, we need a life gearing towards the ultimate liberation one day. So this is the difference between an uninstructed ordinary person and with those who actually learn the Dhamma and practice the Dhamma. So again, here I'd like to highlight, so maybe many of us, we may learn the Dhamma, but if we don't put it into practice, on this particular reflection, which is a theme where the Buddha talks about it for 45 years. His teaching at the end will come to help us, to guide us to see the impermanent nature of all conditioned things. And if we were to really practice, meaning putting it into our life by cultivation through certain practice, like satipatthana, using the mindfulness of the body, feeling, the mind, and the Dhamma, then of course we'll be able to be certain about the journey of our life. Next. So therefore, here we would appeal to all to be uncertain not, but strive heedfully. So reflect on the impermanency of all conditional things, and then we'll be able to overcome a lot of challenges that we may face. So change is inherent. We say from inherent in all phenomena existence. But whether we think or we believe or not believe, there's nothing animate or inanimate, organic or inorganic, that we can label as permanent. So since even as we affix that label on something, it would undergo metamorphosis, change. Realizing this central fact of life by direct experience within oneself, so the Buddha declared, whether a fully enlightened one has a reason in the world or not, it still remains a firm condition, an immutable fact and fixed law, that all formations are impermanent, subject to suffering, and devoid of substance. So anicca, dukkha, anatta, and this is a 3 characteristic common to all sentient existence. So we should not be uncertain about it, and so that's why the Buddha say, so fools Men of little intelligence give themselves over to negligence. But the wise man protect his diligence as a supreme treasure. Means to strive heedfully to practice the training of Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Means to have this heart of practice of generosity and to uphold the principles of life of the 5 precepts. And if you can, the 8 precepts, and also the renounced life to go forth. And this is also the way how this can help us to condition to our development of the samadhi. Yeah, the samadhi, the way of life of the internal joy and happiness and bliss, and also the understanding of the a pure mind, yeah, to purify our mind, so then we'll be able to experience the 4 Brahmavihara, and also to experience the non-self. Yeah? So these are the cultivation that can be helpful. So whether the Buddha came or the Buddha is not around us, or whether any leaders of the country or whoever, no one can take away these 3 characteristics. So we have to understand so that we can respond properly. Yeah. So now, so the most important in the practice of bhavana, is anicca, where we will be able to develop insight. Yeah. So just now you say sila, samadhi, panya. Yeah. So sila, samadhi, panya. So it comes from our practice of bhavana. Yeah, mental cultivation. So as a cultivator, you will come face to face with impermanence ourselves during the cultivation, as we are able to this cultivation will enable us to realize that we have no control over phenomena, and any attempt to manipulate it creates suffering. So we thus learn to develop detachment, but understanding it the way as it is. And because of the acceptance, then openness start to help us, and the openness to change, start to come to us and enabling us to live happily and amid all the vicissitudes of life. So hence the Buddha said, to one who perceives the impermanence, O meditators, the perception of insubstantiality manifests itself. And in one who perceives insubstantiality, then egotism is destroyed. So, and as a result, even in this present life, one attains liberation. So the comprehending of anicca leads to automatically to a grasp of anatta, means non-self, and also suffering. And whoever realizes these facts naturally turns to the path that leads out of suffering. All right, so we can learn and practice, and the most important thing the Buddha said, if learning without practice is of no use. So if we want to overcome, even whatever that we face during this pandemic, we need to put our learning into practice. Next. So again, in this Dhammapada 227, so we know it's certain, the Buddha said, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one observes this with insight wisdom, then one becomes detached from suffering. So this is the path of purifications. So purification of mind or enlightenment or liberation, or is it freedom from the cycle of samsara? It is not far out there. It is very, very much within us. So, but when we can see, it with insight, with the bhavana, the cultivation of the mind, body, feeling, mind, and Dhamma, then we will be able to detach from this uncertainty or suffering or stress. Next. Therefore, one should not be negligent nor be addicted to sensual pleasures. The man who meditates with diligence attains much happiness. So again and again, we should not be negligent. Yeah, in whatever challenges we face, we should not be negligent, and also not to be addicted to sensual pleasures. So by this time, a lot of people may comment or complain, and a lot of lamentation is because when they are too much into sensual pleasures, then they will lament, yeah? Oh, my sensual pleasure is taken away from me, I cannot enjoy. So, but if a person thinks that way, of course, they will suffer. So that's why the Buddha said, don't be addicted to sensual pleasure. But now again, you have to be also very careful. The sensual pleasure can come through only one gadget, that is a handphone. And also that sensual pleasure addiction can penetrate into you because of the AI. Yeah, so they can calculate, they can see what you like, and they will keep invading your mind to become attached, to what is external, but rather and what is within you. Yeah, so then your addiction to it, your craving, your passion, your ill will be swinged by the suggestion that they give you. Yeah, and so that's why it's due to your ignorance. So again and again, we have to come back to the practice, reflect that don't be swinged with the 8 worldly conditions. Yeah. Next. Okay, the Buddha said, the energetic prosper. So as we are into this around, revolve in the 8 worldly conditions, remember the Buddha said that we also must be continue to be energetic, mindful, pure in our conduct, by taking the principles of life, the 5 precepts. And also we must know what is wholesome and unwholesome, and we restrain, self-restrain, be moderate in whatever you do. And also living righteously means earning righteously, and then you protect your money righteously, in a way that you know when to spend, what to use, and what to share. And also in a way that when you have good association, then you'll be able to also be protected and be guided to walk the right path. And one thing the Buddha said to be happy in this sense is also not to be in debt. Yeah. So this is one of the good way of how we can direct our energy in a prosperous way that protect ourselves and bring well-being and also other being, while we cultivate our mind towards liberation. So in this way, whether you like it or you don't like it, of course, fame steadily increase. Yeah. Meaning, although you are not into the fame, but the fame will steadily increase. Right? So we can see that some of the probably like rich people in the world, some of them, they are also they are very rich, but they live very, very simple life, and they earn their righteous living, and they also use a lot of their wealth in actually helping others, and also in the development of goodwill, compassion, and also the joy of seeing that the community or the world is growing with compassion. Next. So also in Dhammapada 29, the Buddha said, heedful among the heedless, watchful among the sleeping. Yeah? The wise man outstrip the foolish man as a race horse outstrip an old horse. So again, in this, the time that we have during this period, whether it's our MCO or whatever it is, never take it lightly, or never take it as, a time which is uncertain. Therefore, I can, be not, heedful or diligent, or alert. So in this time of challenges too, if a person are heedful, then we can see that they were still leading, towards, people say what, the best out of the worst, sometimes. And this is where that in whatever conditions, when we are not swing, or spin around with the 8 body condition, we continue to perform our duty and responsibility well. And in that sense, I think we have done the best. I still remember this one time when my ex-boss, and he knew that I have this intention to renounce, and he was saying that, oh, so now you want to renounce, So then at the end of the day, then I no need to increase your salary then. Yeah. But then, and then he laughed. And then he looked at me and I answered him. I said, well, I think in my important thing is that whatever that I do, I make sure that I have given the best. Yeah. And whether the promotion or the increment comes or not, that is another part of it. But on my part, I have done the best. So I have not owned anything. I have given the whatever that I have, and I feel contented and rejoice. Yeah. And if in case somebody else know how to appreciate, and they also see and rejoice with that kind of good things that is being done, and if they are offering something, yeah, that is helpful for the growth, then that is a bonus. Yeah. So what we need actually is not much, and what we do is important. So always be heedful, doing your best, giving your best, sharing the best, and practice the best of the Dhamma. So I think that will be very helpful. So if others are not performing, or others are not doing what they are supposed to do, it is their concern. Yeah. So our concern is always to be heedful. Don't compare with someone who don't do, and then you bring down your own well-being or your own performance. It's not like that, right? Okay. Next. So again, there are many heedful advices. The Buddha said the heedful advance. Yeah. So the one who delights in heedfulness and looks with fear on heedlessness advances like fire, burning all fetters, great and small. So as we learn all the Dhamma that we have listened, I think, throughout this MCO or CMCO online, there are so many things that we have learned. But reflect, are we actually practicing it? If we are, I think we have advances like fire. Yeah, many deformants and fetters that exist in our mind, great or small, will be burned off. So in one way, the condition maybe people think maybe not so good, but in another way, if you are a practitioner, I think you will make good use of this opportunity to be able to overcome many things and continue to advance in your purification and also your freedom of mind. All right, next. So the Buddha said the wise create their own heavens. Yeah, and although we have these 8 whirlwinds that spin around, but the wise create their own heavens. So again and again, your right effort comes in. Yeah, effort to abandon and prevent those unwholesome from being arising, and then the effort, yeah, to cultivate, to develop those wholesome states, and also maintain and increase those wholesome states. So it's by sustained effort. It's not that today I do it, tomorrow I don't do it. Yeah, but it's a continuous effort. Yeah, and earnestness, and then with discipline. So discipline is very important, and so this is where that we guide ourselves to do our duty and responsibility, the way of practice. Yeah, and self-control. Yeah, so meaning we have to be aware of our sensual desire, our sensual pleasure. So as we self-restrain, yeah, then we'll be able to cut down all those unnecessary unwholesomeness that invade our mind. So we can fill our mind with all the wholesomeness, and this is where that we can continue to practice in an environment that help us to be an island, which no flood overwhelms, means nothing else can invade the mind already, right? So we hope that everyone can practice this way until we are able to be free from the cycle of samsara. All right, the last slide. So last but not least, again, I'd like to conclude. Certainly, yeah, all conditioned things are impermanent, yeah, unsatisfactory and insubstantial. So we have to be heedful, follow the middle path, the Buddha's noble eightfold path. So thank you for your attention and for this particular topic, and we hope that everyone live by the Dhamma. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Ayah, for the very profound and insightful Dhamma talk this morning on uncertain, not be heedful, which is a good a guide for us to reflect and cultivate ourselves so as to be able to respond appropriately to 8 worldly conditions, especially those unfavorable ones. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, now it is a question and answer sessions. Do you have any questions for Venerable Sumangala? If you have any questions, you can type your questions in the comment box. Aya, one question here. When we face with the 8 worldly conditions, especially those that can bring us a pain and misery, is it better to face them head on with courage and with skillful reflections, or is it better to just avoid them by retreating away from this worldly condition so that we do not need to see or hear or experience those unfavorable worldly conditions in one way or another? Which one is better?
All right. As you can see, the Buddha say, these 8 worldly conditions, whether you like it or you don't like it, it will hit you left and right, up and down, right? Because our life, we always think that all these conditions is just like, because we do not know exactly what it is. So we're always very anxious, feeling very uneasy, thinking that because it's the external causes, that actually because of something physical, or because due to virus, or because due to this person, or due to that things, we always keep looking outside, and if you keep looking outside, you can run away, you can avoid, but the Buddha said, where to hide? You want to hide in the jungle, in a cave, in a temple, or where? So whether you go anywhere, still the mind is preoccupied with this. Untrained mind, the Buddha said, is so obsessed, so consumed and so occupied with these thoughts. Okay, let's look at our normal common life. The topic that people are talking about, what do you think? Isn't it always cycle around this 8? Especially for the female one, you will hear, oh, that uncles happened or something, that auntie lose a son, that person, lose money, then business like this, So if a person want to run away, like I said, physically you can run away, but mentally you can't. So isn't it that you have to really look at it and face it and understand it? So how to understand is not that difficult, because the Buddha said, look at it objectively. Like, for example, the Buddha talked to Bahia. This wanderer, he was like so keen to learn from the Buddha, and he do not know much thing. And he said, please teach me. So the Buddha just teach him one very simple thing. He said, Bahia, is I permanent? Then Bahia said, I permanent or impermanent? Then Bahia said, impermanent. So the Buddha said, what is impermanent? It leads to suffering or leads to non-suffering? Then he said, suffering. So then the Buddha said, if what is impermanent and suffering, is it fit to actually address it or to take it as this is I, this is mine, this belongs to me? So if you reflect at it, then the Bahia will say, of course not, not fit. So if we keep swinging around or spinning around the 8 worldly condition as, again is mine, it will be permanent, it will be for a long, long time, it brings happiness. But faced with loss, this is grief, this is pain, this is stress. So if we associating it with this, it belongs to me, and it's permanent, everlasting, I'm going to hold it for life, maybe after life, then we are only having an illusion. An illusion, because why? It is impermanent, but we think it as permanent. It is unsatisfactory, we think it as happiness. And it's insubstantial, but we think it as there's a self. The ego is there. So the main thing to address it is to face it and to understand it as the way it is. So daily practice is good. When Greek comes, then we contemplate, hey, this too is also anicca. If let's say it's anicca, then anicca leads to what? Suffering. So suffering, then fit or not to say that this is I, this is mine, yeah, this belongs to me, it will be eternal with me. Of course not. So not fit to think that way. So when we can be able to see it that way, then we are detached from it. Yeah. So we earn, but we are not attached to it. We know that our body needs some food. Yes, all these things. A bit of shelter, so we are free from rain and shine. But the rest of it is basically catering for our need. And then if we have extra that can help us to provide the forerequisite, then we can actually help to develop our mind. So chasing after the worldly things will never end. Like the Buddha said, the Buddha said, I tell you, it's going to be stressful, suffering. So if in pain, and we still don't learn the way it is and practice what it is and reflect to help ourselves to overcome this, then of course we will go around feeling painful and more to come. Yeah, so serious suffering, and there's no end to that. So I don't think so. People want to choose that way. People want to choose happiness. Yeah, people want to choose freedom. So, but to be free, truly free from the cycle of suffering. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Ayah. There's no more other question, Ayah. So on behalf of our devotees, we convey our heartfelt thanks and gratitude for your very profound and very insightful talk this morning, and for the very enlightening answers to our questions. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Secure.
Sunday Buddha Puja service and a wonderful Dhamma talk. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, please help me to thank Venerable Sumangala and also thank the organizing team. Brothers and sisters, before we end this session, let us do the pay homage to the Triple Gems. Buddhang Pujemi, Dhammang Pujemi, Sanghang Pujemi. To the devotees who had stayed until to the last session, we would like to invite Venerable to help us in the chanting of the transference and sharing of the merits. Break.
So let us compose our mind as we start today with Dhamma in our heart and recalling to mind all our merits and all our good practice and to share the merits. So Patidana, transference of merits to the Devas. Akasattha cha bhummata devanaga mahittika punyang tang anumoditva cirang rakkantu lokasasanang cirang rakkantu desanang cirang rakkantu mamparang. Etavata ca ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva sabbe satta sabbe buddha anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Patidana, transference of marriage to departed relatives. idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Punyanumodana, sharing of merits. Imang no punya bhagang mata pitu nancha acharya nancha sabba satta nancha sabba mitta nancha sabba nyati nancha sabba peta nancha sabba devata nancha bhajema imang no punya bhagang sabba sattanang dema sabbe satta sukita hontu. Patana aspirations. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya idang me punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu idang me punyang nibbanassa paccayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
To the devotees, thank you very much for participating. And again, thank you, Venerable, for joining us and helping us to understand the Dhamma. To those who have joined us early in the morning at 9:15, and to those who have stayed till the transference and sharing of merits, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We have come to the end of this 39th online Sundays Buddha Puja service. My announcement is that next week, on the 21st, we do not have the Sunday Buddha Puja, as we are having an online sutta study meditation workshop conducted by Ayasma Gachita. Please visit us again 2 weeks later, that is on the end of the month, 28th of March, Sunday morning, 28th March, to participate in the online Sundays Buddha Puja service. You may refer to your society's Facebook or posters with the information. Brothers and sisters, remember to stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well and happy and peaceful always. Sukhi hontu, sabbe sattha sukita hontu.
Bahung sahan semabhinim mitesayudantang ngirimi kelang uditego Sase